Welcome to the hour on time, every time, once a week, Sunday. It's good to have you here. And on this hour, we're going to look at one, a new song, Angel in the Sky, that was released by Signal Band. We're also going to look at progressive politics in a more progressive era. So I may have a few things to say about what probably is necessary and the fact that we should focus on the future, not on the past, when you talk about political progress in Dominica and throughout the world. I will also endeavor to deal with a very important issue that Margaret Wallace, Dr. Wallace, Dr. Triffy, raised on a Facebook post that I see she made yesterday. I will deal with this issue and spend some time because I think when people of the caliber as Dr. Triffy present certain issues, because not all, I cannot really relate on all the issues that she deals with because she is in a different field. But she touched on a particular area which coincides with my field of endeavor, my work, as pertains to the citizenship protections. And she had some pertinent questions that I will attempt answering. In fact, I did make a post, a response under her page, and I said that Team Unity Dominica, with which I'm associated, has a major plan to deal with that similar issue. I won't present Team Unity Dominica's position on my program. Carlos will do that some other time of his choosing. But I certainly want to deal with that issue raised by Dr. Triffy and add some contents to it. I think that's what we should do. See what our brothers and sisters do, see what people of like mind do, and complement each other's work. So I will certainly do that today. I would make some mention. Well, let me do it so now before we get into Signal Band of Loftus Emmanuel, who I admire greatly. I always follow his programs, not just now as a social media influencer, advocate, activist, but long before, even before he was at CCM. Lofty is always someone who listens, ponders on things that he hears, and when he makes an opinion, when he makes a point, it is always firm. And Lofty is diminutive, but he is large in terms of his ambitions and his reach. And I think the sky is the limit for Lofty. A bit more on the activist radical side, but we need all sorts. We need people from different angles to message and to attack the status quo for their failings. And Lofty is doing just what he is expected to do. Some people may have indifference with Lofty when it comes to his form of messaging. But I think Lofty is very significant when it comes to the Dominican political, socio-political space. And I wanted to give some respect and credit to him again, as I've always done. But I wanted to big up Lofty for the work that he'd done. Um, and before I speak about the issue with Dr. Triffy, well, in fact, let me just do this now and get it out of the way with. I'm really on a roll in terms of Lofty. He would have symbolically burned or burnt a copy of a report which had been presented by Sir Byron to the Honorable Prime Minister of Dominica on behalf, I guess, of the Electoral Commission, which recommended the way forward for reform. I know TUD is dealing with that later on, but I wanted to deal with Lofty and his symbolic burning now on this program. God, Lofty is a brethren. I give him my 100% support. As I said, I don't do the way he does it, nor does he do the way that I do. We're not all supposed to do the same. But the battle is never won with one strategy. Well, on one front, you kind of try to win from different fronts. Airborne, sea, troops on the ground, whatever the case might be, there are different approaches to winning a battle or to winning a war. Because some people define politics as war with several battles. I believe you need to win several little battles to win politics, but I will hold that back because people like Carlos is quite keen on those things, and as much as Carlos wants, I'll give when it comes to an understanding of politics and power, what people really do to gain power. Not just Carlos, other people as well. But Carlos is the leader of the TUD movement, and he certainly haunts me every day, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day, asking questions and questioning the responses and everything else. So Lofty symbolically burned the report that he was given to him, or he received, which is in his rights to do, protected as well constitutionally, to protest by burning the report. There's nothing mystifying about that. No, not everybody will or probably should, but if Lofty wants to do that, so what? He didn't burn anybody, he burned some paper to protest. Nobody was in harm's way. He didn't burn it close to a gas station. He did what he had to do in the confines of his space. And then Lofty can have other conversations if he wishes. But I think it's okay, it's fair game for somebody to protest that way if they wanted to protest. And it's also fair game for other people not to burn their report and at least try to enter the conversation, as I said on Lofty's report on his program yesterday. So Lofty, I give you my love and my admiration, and I hope you continue to message for Dominica in the way that you have. I won't touch on another issue that I see, some current affairs, but I don't really deal with current issues per se. I deal with political, socio-political matters. So those breaking stories and developing stories, I never really come on my program and deal with those issues. Because that's not me. I'm not a news person. I am an educator. And my area of endeavor, my field of expertise is politics. So I'm going to stick within my field. That's why I decided to deal with Dr. Trifi and the questions that she asked, because she is not in the field. That's my field, but she's asking questions of my field. So I'm going to answer. And when I ask questions of her field, she will answer as well. That's how we should do it. Instead of castigating each other and trying to upstage each other, we're supposed to complement each other for the benefit of Dominica. So that's why I wanted to start with this little warm-up to get started. And I would like now to get into the first segment of our program is the review of Signal Band's latest song, Angels in the Sky. What we're going to do, we're going to play that song first. We're going to look at that song. I'm going to come, talk a little bit about it, talk a little bit about Shelley and the movement. And then we'll play the song again, because I think that song is deserving of the kind of attention that we're going to give it on this program. So let's now watch that song, take it in its entirety, and then I'll have a little thing or two to say about it after that. So here is Angels in the Sky from Signal Band, the latest release. I'm trying to get it going. It should be going in a little while. Just before, though, I wanted to say the final segment on the program, if we have time today, is going to be the Where on Earth is Asa segment. So we'll try to see whether we can get that in as well today. So we keep on keeping a track of wherever Asa is. And we know where he is right now, so we might try to get that in before we end our program today. But I wanted to present, first of all, Angels in the Sky from Shelley, the man who actually present another big song in Dominica, a song that is going to go places. A song that is not similar to all the other songs that he did, but one that is very, 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 very telling in terms of the lyrical component of the song. Somehow the song does not want to go as we speak right now, but we'll get back to Shelley in a little while. Let me move on to Dr. Trifi, because somehow I'm not getting the song to come through. So let's deal with Dr. Trifi, and then we'll come back to Shelley. Good things come to those who wait, guys. We'll get back to Shelley in a little while. Dr. Trifi. So yesterday, meaning the day before Sunday, today being the 8th day of July, the time that this program is being done live, just to put this program in context for those people who are going to view it many years from now, maybe even after my mortal existence on Earth. So this program is presented live on the 8th of July, 2023. So the day before, Dr. Trifi, who is an amazing social influencer, commentator, messenger, patriot, of Dominica, ask a number of questions. One, she says, I can't imagine this. That's how she started. And she continues, every time I see one of these, I ask, what's the real population of Dominica? That's what Dr. Triffy is asking. And Triffy, no one knows. Because the population of Dominica is the best held secret. It is top secret by the state. I'm not too sure why. Why can't we know how many people live in Dominica following the gross migration of people after Maria? And Erica too, you know. Just tell us. If it is 40,000 people, it's fine. Let us know. So she's asking, what is the real population of Dominica? And by that, I think she meant of Dominicans living on the island. So if it is 40,000, just tell us. What is the big deal about telling us that our population have depleted down to a certain amount? The next statement the doctor is making is, if new citizens are wealthy enough to pay for their share, right, of Dominica, does that not automatically make most of us Dominicans get part of the lower class financially? But that is a very fair statement. She's asking probably even a rhetoric question. I don't have to answer that. It is very clear. She first of all asked about the number of people living in Dominica, which is, I think, I don't know what it is, but if it's 40,000, tell us it's 40,000. Or if it's less or more, tell us. And then she goes on to ask, if new citizens are wealthy enough to pay for their share of Dominica, does that mean automatically, does not automatically make most of us part of the lower class financially? But of course, yes. And by new citizens, she's speaking about people who have acquired Dominican citizenship through investment or whatever means. But the most popular means of the new citizenship acquisition is through the CBI. And those people who purchase the passports have the means of purchasing the passport to become citizens. And she's saying, if they have the means, doesn't that make those of us who do not have the economic might that they have in the financial lower class of Dominica? And the answer is yes. That's not even being prejudicial. It is just being factual. And the answer is yes. Dr. Triffy goes on. What provision, if any, are being made to protect you and your children? What is government's policy when it comes to citizenship generally and the protection of birthright citizenship? That's what the good doctor is asking. Where is the policy? I know Dame Eugenia, when she had the citizenship program, I think there was a particular clause where she said economic citizens could not vote. I'm sure Bosso can bear me out of that, my dear friend Bosso. Is that clause still in place? Of course not, because we hear of how many citizens who became citizens through the economic process voting in Dominica, in Rosa Central, and other places. So I think that proviso is out the door. I'm not saying that economic citizens should not vote or new citizens should not vote. The question is, as Dr. Triffy is asking, what is in place? What provisions are being made to protect you and your children? Those of us who have birthright citizenship, everywhere in the world you go, that is pretty much embraced by nations, the people who were born there. No, we are not natives. The Kalidagos are natives, but we were born there. So we give more respect to the natives, which they don't get. And those of us who was born there, we have the birthright. So the economic citizens and the new citizens ought to not, even if they are citizens and have all the protection as citizens, there is a fine line between birthright citizenship and other citizenship. Because you can't go in China, become a citizen, and claim and demand things the way that. Well, let me not talk about China. Let me talk about America. You can have American citizenship, but if you don't have the birthright, your country is on the passport, of the American passport, And that is a difference, it's not being brandished, but it's a subtle difference. So Dr. Triffy is asking, what provisions, if any, are being made to protect you and your children? The same provisions that are made to protect the natives, the Kalinagos, are there provisions? Because right now they are minorities in their country. And those of us who are majority over them will be minorities too when the new citizens come, just as us. And Dr. Triffy is asking what provisions are in place. I do not know Dr. Triffy Mokoway. I have not seen it, but I'm hoping that there are. And if they are not yet, I think it's late, or maybe even too late. Well, nothing is really too late, but something should be done like 10 years ago. Because you cannot have the born Dominicans overridden by other citizens, because you pretty much are going to submit the country into the hands of foreign interests. Dominica is an amazing bit of real estate that many rich people from other places can acquire, buy into, purchase. And then we have to start writing songs saying, Jack Beach is mine, I can bathe anytime. Your waterways, the rivers and the other natural resources, the lakes, the sulfur spring and so on. People will own property all around these places, and eventually we may have issues to get into those areas. That's what Dr. Triffy is saying indirectly. What is being put, what provisions are there to protect you and your children? She's not talking about her, no, she's talking about you. And I'm joining her to asking the question too. I mean, come on. We're not saying that we're not welcoming new citizens. We should welcome as anybody, as many people as possible, Dominican people. But let us know what provisions are there to protect the people whose neighbor's string was buried there. By all means, everybody should come, because we have space. Many, many more thousands of people could come to Dominica. But there should be protocols, there should be provisions put in place to protect this, not just the sovereignty of our country, but this thing called the birthright, or birthright citizenship. Dr. Triffy goes on to ask, ladies and gentlemen, do you even care? She is being rhetoric. She's asking questions out of just putting questions out there. And if you are hearing the question that I'm echoing, which came from Dr. Triffy, do you really care about what happens to Dominica and Dominican citizens who were born, who inherited a piece of a right to be called born Dominicans? Now, again, this is not going against people who are not born in Dominica, as I say, and I'll continue to say, we need many more people to take up Dominican citizenship and residency, many more, from all groups, races, cultures, etc. There is room for you in Dominica. The question is, what are we doing? What provisions are in place to protect the Dominican birthright? Or to guard against it, at least for the children tomorrow. Don't worry about us now. Now we're okay now. Well, I don't think we're okay, but now is now. Let's talk about tomorrow. In 15, 20, 30 years' time, what will our grandchildren and their children say about what we did not do today? That's what Dr. Triffy is asking. And she's asking, do we even care? Dr. Triffy is saying, how many of you natural-born citizens could afford to become a Dominican citizen today? This is the question that really caught me going. And I say, I have to give some attention to that post. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we need to do as concerned Dominicans, is to cross-reference the work done by people. Dr. Triffy did not just wake up overnight and decide to do that. Her expertise, her education, her qualification, her skills, her experience cause her to ask these questions. I cannot just watch it and say, well, Zafe do we? That is all your business. We take what all you get now. No. Unlike some people who just keep on telling people who are crying out, oh, cry now, take what all you get, all you wrong. That is the worst statement to make about people who are crying out. I remember so many messengers messaged. My partner, my friend, my mentor, manager, Jerry Brisbane, was on fire like a dragon. What did we do when he was messaging? We maybe say Jerry have his money and Jerry talking because Jerry not getting concessions in customs, and we quiet. Jerry had petitions. I saw Jerry walk up the steps to the ministry for petition. People are, he's like, so Jerry stopped talking. And I can call many other names of people who were talking, you know. Maybe me, I might stop talking eventually, and Dr. Triffy might stop talking too, you know. But when we talk, support it. You see me taking blows from the people who are trying to frame me, and you know better. You're not stepping up and defend me. I can count on my finger one person, Gordon Henderson. He's the only one that stood up and said in my defense, bam, bam, bam. Nobody else. And I've worked with many people. Gordon is the only one, Gordon Henderson, who stepped up and put things in perspective. Because we are afraid. We are scared to identify with people who have been good to you, who mean well for you. You're waiting for him to make a breakthrough, and then you'll come and say, oh, Alex, yeah. Too late shall be your cry. So Dr. Triffy is asking some question there. How many of you natural-born citizens could afford to become a Dominican today? But I don't know now. I don't even think I can afford to become a Dominican today because I have to go and get much money to buy a passport. Well, maybe I would if I decide to do it. But how many now? Many of us would not be if we had to purchase it. So those people who are purchasing it are much more advantaged than us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking around and I'm seeing all the arable, the agricultural land, the fertile land have been taken up and used for housing. I saw a brother from Castle Bruce crying the other day. A dead red guy, a friend of mine too. I've always known him as a laborite. He's crying out and people are still provoking him and saying, take what you get. No, when people like that cry, you have to embrace them. As Carlos is, let me not say anything more because people might know what Carlos is doing. Embrace people when they cry, even if they are the ones who cause themselves to be crying. Is that too hard to explain? When your neighbor house on fire, you call them and say, neighbor, sorry, I can throw a little water for you. But instead you go and castigate the person and tell the person, take what you get. Is labor you vote? Really? How foolish can you be? So I saw the brother crying about his land that has been earmarked to be taken for housing without he even knowing. That is a cause for concern. That is agricultural land. He's showing he have his goats and everything else on the land, and they're going to take that for housing. Why? All Dominican land is housing land now. What's going to happen to us being able to produce food for our people? So Dr. Triff is asking those questions. And I decided to echo the questions that she asked. How many of us can afford to buy our citizenship if we have to buy it today? I don't think very many. Maybe about 1.002% of us. And that indirectly is saying, what worth do we have if we don't have money and the people who have money are buying it? We are second class. That's what she's saying. And how long before these Dominicans exercise their Dominican rights? Ha! Well, I heard something in a proposition made to the government for there to be electronic voting. That is when Dr. Triffy, maybe 2 years from now, when next elections are called, when that bill goes to Parliament and becomes law, that's when they can vote electronically. Dr. Triffy, you're a very smart person. You're a brilliant person. The questions you're asking are provoking people in the field to speak up. And that's what your questions did to me. Your question is, and how long before these Dominicans exercise their Dominican rights? Soon. Maybe all know soon they're doing it. Guys, are you getting the point? Dr. Chifi also says, don't ask these questions. Okay. Pakiteo puedom nikodnu. Can you hear them singing? I will not translate what I said, Pakiteo puedom nikodnu, because leave it there. And it's not even Dr. Chifi's words or mine. But we all grew up singing that song. Pakiteo puedom nikodnu. Pakiteo puedom nikodnu. So that's a joke. It's a fairy tale now. It's happening right now as we speak. No, again, I'm not against people coming to Dominica. I'm not against citizens. I'm not against people buying into the Dominican dream, into the nature island splendor. But what provisions are there to protect certain things, certain values, certain ways, certain norms? I hope in the next 10, 15 years on my way to Trafalgar Falls or Boiling Lake or Freshwater Lake or Sari Falls or Spani Falls, somebody's not going to stop me and tell me I can't pass there. Because that's where they start. And I'll be unlawfully acting. Maybe they might kill me. But the fact is, we should never come to a point where we have to write a song, Jack don't want me to be on my beach. Dominica should always be for Dominicans first, and every other Dominicans included. There should be land use policy that tells us that we should not be selling our property. We should be leasing for 50 years, 100 years. Oh boy, I'm talking about a policy position of TUD that Carlos is supposed to be the one to talk about. And that's certainly not on my program because I'm doing an independent vibe there. That's not TUD platform, that's my platform. So Carlos, you will do your stuff. There should be specific land use in place. Yes, you can have land. You can have 10, 100, 15 acres of land to put up a structure, but it's not been sold to you, it's been leased to you. You have 99 years, 50 years. It depends on what kind of infrastructure is doing now. When you keep on selling the little land we have in Dominica like that, the way we're selling the gas, where is the policy? That's what Dr. Triffy is asking about. I cannot see information like this being presented to the public and not respond. That's my job to do. No, I cannot respond to law and the other things. I can when it comes to the area of politics and institutions, oh yeah, that's where I can respond. And I'm responding there. I don't take up every topic. I will take up the topics that in my field. And Dr. Triffy, you put it there. Sorry, I had to deal with it. I hope you don't mind, Dr. Triffy. Dr. Triffy says, you feel no anxiety about the future at all? Dr. Triffy, I feel anxious about the future of our country because I do not know what my little children are going to say when the time comes to inherit what they do not have to inherit anymore. I am concerned because Dominica is being rapidly exchanged. People with wealth and power. And when they put up the barriers, there's nothing you can do. You can shout until your falbus fiel. There's nothing you can do because they have the legal document in their hand, they own it. So I am anxious. I have anxieties. In the next maybe 15, 20 years, I'll be much older than I am today and much, much weaker than I am today. I do not want the record to have me as not saying something about it. People think it's a joke, that Dominica has been realigned and those people who support the realignment just thinking it's okay, it's nice and hunky-dory. But sooner or later, you're going to be older, you're going to die. And what's going to happen after you? You don't care? People are going to ask questions. What did you do to this lovely bit of island, 307 square miles? What happened? How comes all these square miles were sold to our foreign interests with no provision made, as Dr. Triffy is asking about? Dominica is going to be a getaway paradise for the rich and wealthy who would fly in by private jets to enjoy the best of the best. Is that what you want for your country? Do you think that is impossible from happening? So Dr. Chiffy is asking some questions. Dr. Chiffy also says, don't ask these questions. Okay, peace, y'all. Dr. Chiffy, I did my best to deal with your post. I did respond. I did pay attention. I did give respect to you, and I give you credit for putting up the post. So I have played my part in terms of the questions that you ask. And I'm hoping others will continue. Because some people, if it is Alex that touches it, I'm not touching it. Like, sometimes I wonder, what some people think about, If it's not them, it's not good. It has to be them for it to be good. And we cannot come together on a message. We have to do it our way, that way over there, that way over there, that way over there, that way over there. So when I see messages like that, I jump on it and I drive it home because this is my area of expertise. When I hear Lofty, I have to big up Lofty because Lofty is doing something which is quite significant. MO News, I big up MO News. Simone, Matthew, I big her up. I kind of highlight people who are trying to do things. Viva Mamo is maintaining a conversation in the socio-political space. I recognize Viva Mamo as well. And other people who are making the conscious effort. There are some people who are just do melee. It's just they don't care party. People saying the nastiest things about people. I'm reading things written about me and I'm like, is that me? That person has just written that about? One of the most outrageous claims being made against me is that I want power. Me, Alex Bruno, wants to be in power. Where? I want to teach. I want to help safeguard the best of Dominica. I want to help promote our culture. And with that being said, there is a major book I have coming out very soon. Very, very soon. Viva Mamo, you'll be very happy. Very, very soon. Just had a session today, a final edit, final read through. And this book is coming, guys, sooner rather than later. This summer. Book on Dame Eugenia. An interview that I did with her in 1999. You know how long ago that was? A quarter century almost ago. Never been published. I mean, my brother Sam of TDN, I think I gave him the privilege of hearing it or parts of it, but it was not even recorded. But this book is going to be presented for the first time. In her words, you will hear her voice and you will read the text. So it's the first in a series of books. That's what I want to do. I want to write books. I want to do things to mark our culture. I don't want to be in power. If I wanted to be in office, I would have been the leader of the opposition right now in Dominica. Without a question. Unambiguously, I'm claiming that I could have. Nothing would stop me if I wanted to. I'm not interested in party politics power. And I want Carlos and them, TUD. I'm not in politics of the party and pulling party down and across, I'm into a united front. If you want to create a united vibes, let's do it. I'll help. Because I was not the one who started TUD. It was Carlos and them that called me and tell me, boy, we can't give up. Let's do something. And I lend my expertise to the movement, and I'm still there, contrary to what some believe. Had it not been for Brother Carlos, a wonderful brethren, I would not be in this. So I am not in this for that. I want to do things. So the book on Dame Eugenia that's going to come out this summer is a book that you should get. Anybody who wants to read about the politics of Dominica, the Freedom Party, should get that book. But I didn't make it up. No, it was presented to me, and I analyzed, and I did something called the legacies of the leaders. So you'll see what I have to say about the possible legacy of Dame Eugenia. And we're going to do different books on different prime ministers. Following Dame Eugenia, we're going to have one on Patrick John, right on the heels of Dame Eugenia. But let's talk about Dame Eugenia first. She's coming out. That's where my interest lies. Not in politics. I have no issues with politics. I wouldn't mind if I wanted it, but I don't want it. And I have been saying this for the longest while. Some wicked people keep on driving that as if I'm such a selfish, power-hungry person that all I want to do is to get in power. No, I want to help fix Dominica. And you all in your partisanship, because I don't sing from your hymn book, trying to box me out because you think I'm a threat. How can I be a threat? I'm trying to save our country just as you. Well, probably you are a threat. If you wanted to save the country, you would not be doing what you're doing. So to me, that's why I come only once a week on this program. I don't come on live in between, Once a week, 1 hour, and I come and I do my thing and I out you. Because I'm a Dominican. I have a right to speak, especially in things that bothers me and that are in my areas of expertise. I have to. People tell me I'm happy, I'm comfortable, stay in my comfort and leave Dominica in their mess. I give up on Dominica. No, I cannot do that. Give up on Dominica? Ufu. And then what? In 20 years, I'm going to say, boy, no, I know better, so I'm going to do better. Because but the fact is also, I said, look, do not boycott that election. Boycotting an election was a problem. Oh, I heard, sometimes you have to really put things as they are. And I think it's Viva Mama who tell me sometimes you have to face the elephant in the room, right, Viva? I heard a party claiming that they would not contest because after not contesting, it would delegitimize the government and the outside world would not see them and recognize them. That's what the man said. That was the reason for not contesting. Well, the other reason was that it's not fair, they will lose. So if it's not fair, so what? But you still go and fight and cry, say, hey, guess how you fair more? Guess how you fair more? It's not fair. Cry, go there and lose. Because TUD went into the election based on what I know, with a written concession before the election. How can you go to an election knowing the results before in a democracy and writing it before? That's a strategy. TUD contested as a strategic means. TUD didn't go and compete for election, and Carlos is able to speak about that. So these are the things I'm seeing, and I'm saying, but aren't people saying things the way I'm saying it? And I'm saying, am I really that out of thought? Am I really that silly? And I tell myself, no. Because if anybody who did not think that it was a silly thing not to contest in that last election in Dominica, well, something is wrong with you. A man at his weakest, the incumbent at its weakest, calling a snap election to try to save face, and you say no, you're giving them a bigger mandate than they ever had. No, that's not something wrong with some people, boy. So that's why I speak sometimes, because I think somebody has to do certain things, and I'm going to be it. And the book of Dame Jr. that's coming out, Dame is saying all these things in the book. Dame Jr. is saying all these things in the book. I'm like, somebody has to speak, and I will speak until I die. And she did speak until she died. So those of you who may not be interested in what I have to say, you don't have to buy my book, It's okay. But it's out there, and people tomorrow will see it. And there are people from around the Caribbean and the world who will buy the book. So if I can mail more purchase book more, at least I did the work. I kept it for a quarter century. It's going to come out very soon. And I'm hoping you get it, even if you don't like me, but get the product, because it's a good product. So that's coming soon. All right, boy, I think I went over time. My word. Wow. So we have I want to get into Shelley, but before I do, let me just talk about, while I'm on a roll, the need for progressive politics in a progressive era. And I think I mentioned it already, the fact that we don't castigate people who are crying out for help. You reach out, you lend a hand, you show support, you show love, you show attention. You have conversations, you say, I'm sorry. You don't gasconade people. You reach them where they are. If you want to progress in politics, you have to be progressive. You cannot be regressive, thinking of the time behind, saying what I did when I was in office. Who cares what you did? What you're doing now is what's important. What you plan to do tomorrow is crucial. So you know what? I'm not going to talk about that topic. That's a topic for Carlos and the team behind the scenes. That is giving too much information. Sorry about that. What's the next topic? What do I have next? Signal ban? Let's do signal ban. I think there was an issue with downloading the video that I wanted to present. If I can get the video, we're going to play by Annie by Your Love. Hopefully by that time I have the right video. If we don't get it, I'll just move on and probably end this program and get ready to sit on a electoral report review initiative or program of TUD. That's coming up at 3 o'clock. I'm joining Carlos and team to have a discussion about the party's ideas, some basic ideas as to what the reform should be. So that's coming up at 3 o'clock on TUD's platform. So if I don't get to do the Anubayolo, the Angels in the Sky, we will do some questions if we have, and of course end the program to get ready for TUD's program at 3 o'clock. So let me play Anubayolov, Anubayolov, and if we can, we will present Angels after that. Here is Signal Band, Anubayolov.
Realizes that we can still love those who we don't want around us. We can still love those who we may not even want to associate with or ever see again. Now, right now, I am about to head to see some of my brothers, my friends, perform some amazing music.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish that I could make a difference, but it's just a wish. So I need very good parents, like Timmy Turner. I need me a Cosmo and Wanda. Never will I be Michael Jackson. My love is a drug and we need it to heal the world. Make it a better place for every woman, every man, every boy, every girl, every color, every race. We taking this message to put your love out to the world. Maybe I'm just too young. All of this appeared before I was born. I miss my granny. The shawty she would tell me, in your life a lot of people go come home and see you as somebody they could turn to. Forget if they rich or they poor, just give them. And me by your love, and me by your love. So many people around the world you may not know. What their story is, their body might not show. White, no black or Hispanic, you should give them. And me by your love, and me by your love. Annie, Granny would say, your blessings will quadruple, cause the Bible say that good will turn down evil. Like hallelujah. Praises to the Lion of Judah. Never will I become a pastor, but I will still believe that this is the word of the Lord. Can I please get an amen? He's spreading this love here to all enemies and all friends. All those who choose to pretend, he's still not the one to cast the judgment in the end. So we go give them love and leave all the rest to the man up above. You don't have to be holy, just give love to everybody. When people have no reason but they hate you, their goal is to turn the people against you. Whether friend or family, you should keep them. Only by your love, only by your love. So much people have no reason but they grudge you, and they're doing anything just to block you. Be your boss, your co-worker, you should give them. Only by your love, only by your love. Annie, don't forget the people that say they love you. Remember to remind them that you love them too. Cause love is the greatest gift you could give them. Annie, by your love. Annie, by your love. Annie,
All right, Shelly, Anybody You Love, one of the biggest songs in the Caribbean and the world, certainly in the Caribbean, for sure. And that song, I think, landed Shelly on a different plateau. And out of that song, many other songs came, the latest of which would be Angels in the Sky. No, I'm not going to play that song today. We don't have the time, because I really had planned to do it first. And I went into a segment after, which really took some time. So to be honest and fair, I will not do Shirley again in terms of the analysis of the song. We'll save that for next week, Sunday, the Almighty willing. I hope you understand. So we'll do the review of Angels in the Sky on Sunday. We'll also not do the Asa section. I am not feeling Asa today. Sorry. We know he's in France. We know he's doing his due. But yeah, we don't have the time. And we'll probably feature him next week, Sunday, if we have time. So that is two. With 15 minutes to go, I want to deal with a couple of comments because I saw a few comments or discussion. So I want to deal with them, and then I want to give myself 10 minutes to join Carlos and team for a discussion on the party's initial points when it comes to electoral reform. And I'm not the major producer or presenter of this. Carlos is the major presenter of that. I'm just going to be there to support in any way that I can. But guys, you really want to listen to that. It's going to be interesting. All right. So Petra seems to be very busy on the live, on my live, and I'm going to deal with a number of comments that she would have made. Petra says, good questions too. Petra was actually referring to the questions asked by Dr. Triffy. So thank you, Petra, for thinking that those questions are good as well. Petra Capon also says, and Petra is my family, okay, guys? My cousin. I'm not just claiming, he's my cousin. Because my grandmother, Sylvia Capon, some Capi saying. And don't ask me any more questions. I know Petra is my cousin. And especially because she's a wonderful person, I claiming her. So cousin Petra says, Dominicans laughing now like it's a joke until they wake up and have no more rights in the country of their birth. Well, they don't even care, I think, some of them. They think, well, after they die, it's a TV. Apela must a TV. That's what it is, and some do melee. But I'm telling you, the next generation of Dominicans, man, will say, what the... I cannot use the word I want to say. Have you guys done to the country? All right. My cousin also say, agricultural land should never be taken for housing. Amen. Amen, 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 amen. You should zone the land. The agricultural north and northeast should never be grabbed for housing. You should have housing among the land or in strategic areas to complement the land. But to take Castle Bruce and just put land housing there, go in wherever all the places they take in land and just put in housing, just putting up, oh God, Lord, Jara, Safari. Anyway, Dr. Triffy asks those questions, and Petra is getting me hot by saying that the zoning issue in Dominica continues to be a problem. Petra, there's a plan to take care of that because the government in power now will not be the last government in power in Dominica. Some people want to tell us that and tell us the only way is to protest and fight and to burn Rosono. That government will be gone eventually, and a new group of individuals will set a new path for Dominica. Not to meprise and to kill and destroy and imprison anybody, just to fix Dominica for Dominicans. So the zoning and the land use will be taken into consideration. My cousin also say, I'm also a concerned citizen, and so am I. And so am I, cousin. And a gentleman called Egbert Williams gave my cousin a break. And Egbert said, did you interview anyone else besides Dame Eugenia? Oh, what? It appeared. So everybody can see the question. Egbert Williams said, did you interview anyone else besides Dame Eugenia? Full stop or question mark. There are people still alive today that know her much better than you. But how am I supposed to answer that question? Well, first of all, Egbert, I did interview Dame Eugenia. I was the last person to do a full-length interview with her before she died. Well, not right before she died, but she didn't give another interview like she gave to me between the time I did her and the time she died. So yes, sir, I did interview Dame Eugenia. And yes, sir, I'm aware that there might be people who know her much better than I do. But at least I interviewed her and I'm presenting the interview with some analysis. And those people who know her better than me, I would imagine they would write a book eventually. Or probably they should have written one already. Because if they know her so well, they should write. Let us know what we should know about our Dame. So, yes, I interviewed her. And I cannot speak about those people who really, really, really know her. I think Dr. Honeychurch know her quite well. He didn't quite write a book about her. In fact, he's contributing to this book in terms of the introduction of the text. A fascinated gentleman. I don't think he needed to have written about her. He wrote the Dominican story, so somebody else can write about her. All right. So my work is just in within my own sphere after having spoken to her on record, and I'll also give you her voice answering the recording. So it will not be what I say; it will be what she say, and my analysis is based on my own work with her and my expertise. And probably one of the things you should know, Egbert, is that I was a YFM member of the YFM before I could even vote. I mean, I never met Mamu when I was a YFM because Mamu was not a people's person that way. So I just know I was supporting Mamu. It was Mamu, 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 YFM, freedom, freedom, freedom. And that's all I knew. Audrey and a few of us from Calibishi. YFM, boy, YFM in the air. Our mother is labor, we YFM. So I have been part of the movement. Um, and no, I didn't know her personally before I actually got to know her. And so if you know her, maybe you should do something about the work about her. Okay, Egbert, if you can, that would be nice. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, we will do Shelley and the song Angels in the Sky next week. And I will, before Sunday, put out a promo as to the areas I'm going to touch on our Sunday program. Thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to engaging with you next week Sunday. Stand by in about 8 minutes' time. I'll be live with Carlos and team to present some ideas about the party's view on this electoral reform report. Thanks for being here with me. Until next week Sunday. Ciao.